Hello and welcome to the Sunday Night Social with me, Graham Hughes, and I'm joined by special guests tonight, Mike and Mike. We've got Mike Galsworthy of the European Movement, chair of the European Movement, and head of scientists for EU, and Mike Dix, who is the cartoonist genius behind the Trumpton cartoons, which started off by skewering Brexit, didn't they, Mike?
They did. It was all about Brexit and Farage.
Yeah. And then it became Trump. Did you call it? Did you start it before Trump got elected?
Yeah. It was. Is that a lucky accident? I don't know.
Well, like an unlucky accident.
I mean, Trumpton itself started in 1967.
I know, but when you started doing your cartoons.
Yeah, because I did a joke about the fire brigade that Nigel Farage hated. So
I got on the front cover of the Financial Times, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. Yeah.
Fantastic, good stuff. All right, well, listen, before we get on, big shout out to everyone in the chat. We've got Hannah in the chat. We've got Sarah Davis in there. We've got Sfax and Simon. We've got Reverend Kathy. Liam is in there as well. And so is also Graham Haller, another Graham H. Got to have all the Graham H's here. So if you'd like to join them in the chat, just press the subscribe button and wait for a minute and you'll be able to join in the chat. But don't be a troll or we will mute you and boot you. We have moderators in the chat and they have powers. So, Mike, you were just reading an article by Philip Rycroft, who was the permanent secretary.
Me, right? You're going to have
me. Sorry.
We're going to need a
Mikey G. Mickey G.
Oh God.
Oh no, Mike Dix. I could call you Mickey D, couldn't I? Would you like that?
Yeah, no.
Okay. Mike Galsworthy. No, we were just looking at an article by Philip what's his name? Rycroft, and he was the permanent secretary to the Department for Brexiting. Hello. Yeah. Talking of Brexit, here is Alex Kerr from Political X. How you doing, mate? You all right?
Doing well, guys. How are you?
Yeah.
Can we not call him Mike?
TV show.
Is it not possible to call him Mike Alex?
Can we call everyone Mike? Everyone gets called Mike. Just to make it really confusing.
Call everyone Mike.
But yeah, no, sorry, Alex. I was just in a question for Mike Galsworthy about this article about these people who were instrumental in Brexit happening are now sort of dialing back from it. And this article is kind of like, it's not a full-throated, let's rejoin tomorrow, but it's kind of like, this is going to be inevitable. And that's something I've felt for quite a while, Mike.
Yeah, I agree. It's inevitability, isn't it? Sorry, Mike. That was your question, wasn't it?
Yes, it's because he's called Mike and you aren't. Sorry.
So it's interesting to see it all come unstuck slowly. And obviously, defections at the stage, at the 10th anniversary of the Brexit vote, are important, are significant because there's extra sort of spotlight on it. But what was taboo and omerta just a year or so ago is now fully back in the national conversation. There's a new pro-Brexit group that have just fired up, calling themselves Britain Unbound, Britain Unhinged more like. They're still trying to make the case, but they've just fired up and they've got in there going, John Redwood, Mark Francois, Julian Jessup, all of the old crew. But the reason why they're starting up again is because they know what the polls are saying. They know where the country is going. And so they're trying to mount that rearguard action. But it's very much becoming the sensible path forward now, rather than the fantasy of people that wear blue berets with gold stars.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, this is part of this article is part of a series that they're doing on The Independent. They had a big front cover today about Farage and Boris Johnson and Michael Gove basically calling them out for the fact that they just destroyed the country and ran away. And this is a whole series that they're doing of returning to the road.
Yeah, the Independent series is heavy hitting. Yeah. It's they've been doing a good job of it.
Yeah. And I think that is the way it's going to go. But how long do you think this is going to take? Do you think this is a 5-year project, 10-year project, 20-year project? Please don't say it's going to be a 40-year project. 10 years.
Yeah.
So what do you see the timeline as being?
So timeline is generally speaking this. The key permissive stage is obviously the next general election. You don't need everyone to say rejoin. All you need for them to say in their manifestos is that they would open accession talks. They would approach the EU to discuss what a membership deal would look like. And if you can get Labour, Lib Dems, Greens, Plaid Cymru, SNP all on board with that, it's quite possible, well, it's likely that you'd have a majority of voters voting at the next general election for a party that said they would open accession talks.
Yeah.
You may even by that stage be able to get the Tories on board if they're realizing that, you know, the direction of travel demographically as well as economically and what businesses want is clear. But it may be that you don't need that. However, a big Tory loss at the next general election means that after that point, they'll have to pivot. Either way, that's the major permissive point. And if the EU are ready for it, as it seems they are, because we're getting signs from them already, that if we wanted to join the EU, they would fast track us and all of that. It would mean then that we're opening those accession talks late 2029, early 2030. Then, of course, you've got a couple of years of negotiations, could be faster than that, at the end of which you would very probably have to have a referendum. So within the next parliament, you could be having a referendum on a deal that has been put out there. That referendum is going to need probably a longer debating time than the 4 months of the Cameron rush. But anyway, that takes a little bit of time to put together, you know, how the referendum is carried out.
What would you like to see in that referendum if we have it? Would you want it to be legally binding? Would you want to see a supermajority for us to go back in to just end any kind of debate about it afterwards?
I think obviously you want to see a supermajority. Whether you set the threshold of a supermajority, I think you could get into a lot of trouble if you say it has to be 65% and then you get 64.5%. So most of the people in the country want it, but you're saying, no, we can't do it. But I think what would need to be a threshold in there is that all 4 nations of the UK vote for it. I think you need to have that fundamental respect for all 4 nations.
Yeah.
If you're going to go in. And then, you know, after you approve things with the referendum, then of course you've got your accession pathway and the date whereby you actually do go in. So it could be towards the end of the next parliament, or you could have it all approved and signed off, but then you just have an accession date for after that. And it's pretty unthinkable that a political party would say, I know the country voted for negotiations and then voted for this deal, but we're going to pull the plug on it. You know, what that would do to your economy as well instantly would be. So I think that's broadly the path.
Yeah. So Alex, just to bring you in on this, we're having a march next Saturday, aren't we?
Are we?
Yeah.
Anyone seen the advertising for it?
Yeah, the Rejoin march. Please say you're going to be there, mate, because I bought a ticket and everything.
Yeah, I'm going to be there.
Oh, fantastic.
It's interesting as well because Unbound have piped in and started attacking the Rejoin EU party as well.
What's Unbound?
As, Unbound?
Oh, was that
Mike just Britain Unbound. This new pro-Brexit campaign.
Yeah. They've started attacking the march and they've started attacking the Rejoin party. They've literally actively gone on to their social media and they've started... Publicity, so the Rejoin party came out and said...
And they've got unlimited resources, so that's good.
Well, I assume they've got to have some money behind them, surely, because it's the IEA as well, isn't it? They're meant to be
mysteriously funded think tanks.
It might... There might be some American money in there and all of that. Yeah, worth having a little sniff around.
Russian.
But as Graham just said, fantastic stuff because they've just come straight into our territory. You know,
have they attacked you as well?
Yeah,
Graham,
it's not us complaining about Brexit anymore and whining and trying to tear that down. You know, everyone's talking about Rejoin, and so they're saying, "Oh no, Rejoin is hard for this reason and that reason," and they've been trying to do polling in order to undermine it. You know, saying, "Oh, Britons don't want to give up sovereignty in order to go back in." It's like, yeah, but The situation now is that we gain sovereignty by going back in, because we actually get a say over the rules that our businesses live in. And then they go, oh yeah, but the euro. You know, most Brits don't want to join because of the euro.
We can't join the euro, can we? Because
I wouldn't worry about that one, mate. We don't qualify.
Yeah, we don't qualify because is that because our debt to money ratios? Debt to GDP ratio is like 99% or something mad.
Do you also think, Mike? Do you also think that 10 years on, the British public still can't really define what sovereignty is?
I think people have got an idea of what it is, but there hasn't been a proper discussion of what sovereignty actually is in a working international environment. I mean, people understand it's our power to do what we want, and they also feel as though, we're not really getting what we want. So they're realizing that they're not feeling that extra sovereignty, which is why Brexiteers or those that voted leave are feeling really frustrated at the moment. Their main complaint is we haven't taken advantage of all of these freedoms. You know, that's their understanding of sovereignty. There's a good reason why we haven't taken advantage of the freedoms, which is our businesses don't want the freedoms to shoot themselves in their foot. They don't want
the freedoms don't exist.
Gorge out their own eyes, and they don't want the freedoms to cut off their nose to spite their face. Yeah. They are free to do all of those things, but they don't want to.
Yeah. Well, it was always we'll be able to do a great deal with America.
Yeah.
And then Trump comes along and whacks tariffs on us, and the only way we can get out of them is to send our sovereign, which is, I genuinely think a large percentage of the population still think sovereignty is something to do with the king anyway.
Yeah, I mean,
Parliament wasn't sovereign, was it? But then they said in the Article 50,
most people understand it to be us ruling ourselves.
Yeah,
but it hasn't really been put to them like, yes, but if you make a deal with the EU whereby we can all roam like British lions across the continent and live anywhere and stay as long as we like and pick up jobs anywhere, that is a sovereignty that we have gained versus being caged at home. You know, like no country in the world has full sovereignty bar probably North Korea. They have absolute say of whatever they do internally, but they've absolutely got no powers as individual citizens or businesses once they get outside their own patch. So, you know, I think we need more nuanced decisions of collaboration, power, and sovereignty in a complex world going forward.
I think there's something to be said as well. In fact, even North Korea has to listen to China every so often. Yeah. Like they might give off that impression that they have that, but even they've got to listen. And we're hammered in now by the US. Musk, to a certain extent, is taking sovereignty. I mean, look what he's done with Restore. He got 23 million views, like on one of his videos. That's taking away sovereignty.
How is that taking away sovereignty?
Because the fact that he can influence the population from abroad, and he's got probably a mass marketing system bigger than what Murdoch could do. And Murdoch definitely has that ability, or had that ability, to influence public opinion. And that's part of the reason why I would say that sovereignty is not just within territorial waters or just government influence. I think you can have sovereignty eroded to an extent through media or media influence, because they have the ability to, I'm saying this is a very light touch, but it's still there. They can influence public opinion, which means that arguably it's eroded sovereignty, even when it's...
I wouldn't say it's fundamentally got its sovereignty, because sovereignty is still the fundamental powers that you hold yourself. However, if the government don't have an ability to clean up media when media is going wrong, that would be a decrease in sovereignty. I think with Musk at this stage, it's just heavy political interference. But then there is a question about, do we have sufficient sovereignty to guard the conversation space of the country in a way that the citizens want?
I guess there's that thing with Murdoch being the kingmaker in his day, wasn't he? Like, he, if you didn't get him behind you, there was an argument that your government weren't going to be the ones that get in. That's why why Tony Blair became his godfather. So maybe a better wording on my part on that. Yeah.
I read an article recently that which gives you a different perspective, which is that the tech barons are effectively just trying to replace the Murdochs of this world. And create a global media network. And if you look at what they're doing in the States by sort of destroying the network TV operation or politicizing that, and then leaving Musk in a position where he's the only independent voice, effectively, from his perspective, he's not under any kind of government regulation of any description globally. And I often think one of the Brexit freedoms that the UK should have used is media control over the social networks. I definitely think, like, when we've broken free of our reliance, our engagement with the EU rules, which are a lot better than our own to a great extent, we could have actually independently said, let's try a society without this shit. Wouldn't have been popular for a while, but then nobody would have had a platform to complain about it, would they? So,
but for me, the tech barons, there are two prongs to it. One is the media control. The other is the outward, real control over, in terms of foreign policy. Actually, it's not just the domestic media. But it is also onto the Ukrainian battlefield when Elon Musk is threatening to pull Starlink and things like that. The tech barons are much more like what the East India Company was for the British government.
That's a really good example.
That's interesting.
It is our sovereign sanctioned pirates.
And I guess there's an element with Musk being able to influence Trump. So he tells him something crazy. Trump then believes it, then goes, well, we're going to have to put sanctions on the UK. Yeah. Which is another form of
do you know what one of the most damaging things for to say to a Trump voter, these people who love him no matter what, like, it's not to say he's a sex offender or a fascist or a Nazi. They don't care about any of that. But when you say that he only went into Iran because Israel told him to, that makes them feel weak and that makes them feel stupid. It's a really good angle to attack with, because they can't argue with it, because that's literally what happened. He said, Netanyahu said to Trump, I think you should invade Iran. And he went, all right then.
So coming back to that control, I think Musk may have thought he had control over Donald Trump, but Musk isn't particularly cunning about it and has lost his grip on him. I think that Netanyahu was much more clever and effective.
Well, I think you're right about Musk, but I think he's a bit of a wild card in the group. If you look at Peter Thiel and his level of control over government contracts, in particular,
Peter Thiel through JD Vance, that's a much stronger, sharper, more determined route. There's a massive threat there for sure.
Yeah.
But to echo what Graham was saying, that a lot of MAGA people didn't mind that Trump was a sexist, a paedophile, criminal background, had all these bankruptcies.
Friends with Epstein, they don't care about that.
Yeah, none of that. And in fact, the criminality, they kind of like it because it empowers him to do more. The thing was, they want him to be their alter ego themselves in that position of power, arguing for them. And the thing they don't like is the thought of, he's not our guy anymore, he's being captured by other guys.
Yeah.
That's the power dynamic. When this guy who was your champion doesn't care about your interests anymore and seems to be being captured by the same swamp that he went in to challenge, that's when people feel as though their connection with him is gone and he's not their champion anymore. And that's what really starts to undermine the Trump fan base.
There's a lot of evidence for that. I think there's also a lot of evidence. There was a study last week, I don't know who wrote it, but I just remember hearing about it, where there was a suggestion that the more messed up the accusation against Trump, the more pushback there was within the MAGA field to not want to believe it because it was so twisted, such as the Epstein files, that they didn't want to take it on board.
Yeah.
And so therefore they just went conspiracy or nothing to do with it, which is quite a wild thing. Whereas I'd like to think that if we heard something similar about Starmer, we would go, oh dear God, he needs to be removed from power. That's horrific.
Yeah. And I mean, oftentimes in these cases, it's a case of if the alternative is something that you really hate, you will go to extraordinary lengths to protect your guy no matter how bad. And I think this is one of the reasons why two-party systems and first-past-the-post systems are fundamentally broken, because there isn't that fluidity whereby you can ditch your own guy if they're bad, guy or gal if they're bad, knowing that something else could emerge from their party, could emerge from another party, could blossom from the middle and all that. And so you kind of get stuck in trench warfare, even with people that you start to realize are bad. And I think America has got itself deeply stuck in the I mean, as George Washington initially said, he was very fearful about party politics coming in and being dominant, because then loyalties would be two parties over the people that vote you in. And America, eventually crystallized into just two parties. And so it's these two camps at war with each other. There's no opportunity for something to come through the middle on the scale that America is. So I don't know how they get themselves out of that one. I really don't. I don't know how they get themselves out of their healthcare problem. I don't know how they get themselves out of their ballooning debt that is reliant on the world using dollar systems. I see lots of problems for America structurally.
Sorry, I was going to ask, how do you think that the Labour Party now, if Andy Burnham wins on Thursday and he does decide to take the Labour Party in a more European direction than Labour have already done? Because don't forget, Labour have taken us back a few steps, haven't they? We're back in Erasmus now, I believe, and Horizon.
Erasmus will be in the year 2027 for a one test year, because that's the last year of the Erasmus program. Right. And then if that goes well, and we are going to make sure that it goes well because we're going to be promoting it, getting working class youth involved in and all that, fantastic. Then we'll sign up to the 2028, version.
Okay. All right, wonderful. So what could Andy Burnham do in this parliament to move us back towards the EU? Do you think he could take us back into a customs union and use that as a thing to say, well, it's not the customs union, it has a different article, it has an indefinite article? Well, could he do that, or do you think we're going to have to wait till the 2029 election for it to actually be in a manifesto?
I would actually advise that we wait until, well, not wait, but save powder until 2029, because you don't want to burn up all of your juice on something like the customs union, which is going to be a lot of squeeze for not much juice. And then after that to say, well, that added about 0.25% onto our GDP. Huzzah, we're all knackered. Should we go for the single market next and then go for rejoining after? I would get as aligned as we can with the EU, get back in as many programs as we can, the European Environmental Agency, the Galileo, for example, other bits of monitoring, Eurostat, just align on as many things as we can, line up the Lego pieces so that we can say, right, in next Parliament, guys, we all want to just click this together in one go, in one move. People are saying rejoin. No one's wants to get stuck in a halfway house. Let's just get everything teed up so that in the next Parliament we can do this thing. And if that's the plan, then I would imagine that lots of investment would line up ready to back all of that as well.
Okay. Femi, how you doing, mate? You okay?
I'm running now. I'm great. I'm living on Pepsi and Monster, so that's my life right now.
Okay, well, make sure you keep hydrated. Femi, your microphone seems a bit fluffy or something. I don't know what's happening with your microphone.
Cool. I will figure it out.
Okay, no, that sounded all right when you said you were going to figure it out. Maybe you just need to give it a loving squeeze and that's sorted out.
Get it closer to your mouth. Clip it on your beard.
Okay. I have done this in the past.
No, don't. Oh no, this is going to be
burger and fries, please.
testing 1 2 3. So Femi, we were just talking Mike. We were just talking about the election this week. We've got it looks like Andy Burnham might win in Makerfield. We don't know. Who knows? But if he does, and he does win the leadership of the Labour Party, and he becomes Prime Minister, what he could do in the next few years before the next election that would set us in the right, direction for eventually rejoining the European Union. Mike was saying maybe we should leave it a little bit in a way. Sorry, I don't want to misinterpret what you were saying there, Mike, but just, keep our powder dry until the next election and then actually have Labour put it into their manifesto.
To paraphrase, the move we want to make is into the EU. Trying to do it in different steps of into the customs union, then into the single market, then the EU could just knacker us out and also distract us. I would go for the proper high jump, the proper thing, rather than try to create an intermediary step, which could lose a lot of political capital in the battle for it.
I hear that point, and it is valid. And I'm going to give a counterpoint, not necessarily because I believe the counterpoint defeats yours, but because I think it's necessary to counterbalance it, which is that the reason why I'm really frustrated with Labour right now, and with people like West Streeting who are saying things like Rejoin, and with Starmer who's been saying for the past 18 months, okay, maybe we do need to get close to the single market, is because your average person isn't hearing the minutiae of the day-to-day policy decisions of are we going to be this part of the single market, customs union, rejoin. They're not hearing that. All they're hearing is politician who sounds like they want to get closer to the EU is in power and isn't making my life better. That's all they're hearing. And so the longer this goes on without a significant boost at the economy, which would only come from at the very least being inside the single market, the longer we essentially poison the well, and we have lots of people who see politicians who sound like they're pro-EU, but don't actually do anything when they have the chance to do anything. And then they think, well, if these pro-EU politicians aren't going to help me, then the Brexiteer politicians, A, I may as well try them. B, how can Brexit have really harmed me if the pro-EU politicians are helping me just as much as the Brexiteer ones? So I hear your point about it'll cost political capital to try and get into the single market and then the customs union and then rejoin. But at the same time, if we don't do things faster, then we poison the well to get there in the first place. However, that said, as far as if we were to wait to keep our powder dry and think what is the most important thing to do now, I would genuinely, if I had a choice between significant progress on the EU versus proportional representation, I'm choosing proportional representation.
Yeah.
Because if there is any chance that Nigel Farage gets in, I've just come back from Brussels. I've spoken to a whole bunch of EU officials. I've spoken to MEPs. I've got a statement from the Commission, all of which is sounding extremely positive about the prospect of the UK rejoining, and then it's basically in our hands. If we drop our red lines, then it's game on. When I spoke to some of the advisors, however, that advise the various parties on what to do next, that's when I heard a bit of the nervousness about what happens if Farage takes over.
Yeah,
and that can happen on a 30% vote share. So I think if we actually want to guarantee that we do make progress, if Andy Burnham could only do one thing, it's PR. Lock Nigel Farage out of power forever, and then we can play ball. And anybody saying,
has he been saying about PR? He's been talking about. Has he been talking about voter reform?
He did in the last manifesto. He said that they were pro PR because obviously it was to their advantage. And now gone a bit quiet. I mean, the guy.
What you mean in his manifesto or Labour manifesto?
No, I was talking about Farage.
Oh, sorry, no, I was talking about Burnham. Sorry,
Burnham.
Burnham. So is Burnham kind of what's his feelings about PR? Does anyone know?
Historically, he has been massively pro PR. It's been the main as far as my hope in Labour, it was always pinned to the last hope was if Burnham gets in and he's the only either him or Clive Lewis would deliver PR. And so I've heard that recently he has talked about it recently. I haven't been back and looked at exactly what he said, but one of the people defending him said it would definitely be in the manifesto for the next election, and that is not good enough. That is simply not good enough. He has the ability to do it now, and if he doesn't, then nobody will trust him to do it when he gets at the next election.
But does he have a?
This was my question that I was waiting to ask, and I'm sorry to take up so much time. Is there actually time to get PR done before the next general election, which is not just the legislation, but it's all the consultation needed, then all of the education to the public about what that whole new voting system is? I think that if you can't do it on time, and I suspect that you can't do it on time, and doing it now would look like a hell of a knee-jerk as well, and they should have really been doing this from the get-go in this parliament. But anyway, I think that offering in a manifesto alongside opening accession talks is actually, I mean, obviously you'd have to win the next general election, but if you had the progressive parties all offering PR and opening accession talks, that is a big revolution in the UK to be promising in the next manifesto. I mean, I think it would be ideal if we went into the next general election with a PR system, but I think that
just in terms of
limited road on it.
Just in terms of political capital and time, if Burnham wins next week, then he might or might not be leader by what conference? So August, September time.
Yeah. Well, I think they'll do it quicker than that. I can't.
It's not going to. I don't think it's going to happen overnight. I think the Labour Party moves pretty slowly on these things.
It's true. It's true. You can't just win in Makerfield and then it is anointed.
Well, I mean, exactly. And I think there'll be a competition. But what I wanted to bring up was it's all very well, and I agree completely with what you're saying. And I think it's politically difficult to work out what order to do these things in. But fundamentally, we had a defence secretary resign this week over the complete lack of investment in defence and the cuts that were going to have to be made to welfare, etc. And you've got this increased international risk, not least of which is Donald Trump. I'm not sure that events, dear boy, are going to give us time to have a debate about politically restructuring the country without a mandate. So I tend to sit with you, Mike, that I think engineering things in the background so that you end up at a referendum point in the next general election, effectively, to say this is what we all stand for now, and working hard on that relationship with the Lib Dems, with the SNP, with Plaid Cymru, to bring, and the Greens, hopefully, to bring all of them into we all agree on these basic changes to our democracy, including rejoining the EU. But in the meantime, I think Burnham's job is to do something about the cost of living, and the impact that Trump and his wars are having, and do something about, I live very near to Portsmouth, and there is a Russian tanker off the coast here at the moment full of Marines, basically. We are in a situation where I think defence is going to become the story for the next short while.
I asked Kinnock a couple of weeks ago whether or not he thought there was enough time to get it through Parliament, and he was like, no chance. And I said, well, what if we just
voting reform or getting back into Europe?
No, proportional. Was there time that Burnham got in to whether or not you could do it? And he was like, no chance. And I did think to myself, I wish I'd asked him if he just took the Scottish model, because people then would be able to go, oh, we know what it is. It's easier for people to understand it. But even then, he didn't think it was possible.
Do you know what?
But the other thing is, and this is a problem with food and cost of living that Burnham's going to deal with, and we've all touched on it, is food. The fertilizer is not getting to Australia anytime soon. And that Southern Hemisphere not producing food because of Trump, and you just said events, dear boy, is going to absolutely murk us. We are reliant on food more than any other Western country. We only produce 60%. most of it's farm husbandry because
I think,
the land.
Alex,
is
just to be technical, there, I
What?
think most countries are reliant on food. We're just more reliant on imported
imports.
food.
Imports, sorry.
I quite like food as well, Alex.
I was going to say,
imports.
come on, I like the food.
So I'm just going. We've got claims of 50% hike coming in November on food, and we've got gas and electric prices getting hiked up in the next few months. And you're just going, this is mad. But then that makes me hopeful about rejoining the EU, because they might just have to go, we're going to have to, because we're knackered as a result of Trump's actions. Yeah. And it's going to be the only thing you can do.
There'd be an opportunity to call it the common market again and just say, we're going to join the common market for food. That's what we're going to do.
So look, I'm going to try and say this as calmly and as I can, because on the EU side, I think you are severely risking the EU side if you don't make PR an absolute priority. It's you still got 2 and a bit years until then, and again,
a necessary part to sit alongside rejoining. Yes.
And in 2 and a bit years, you can more than do. If you come in with a plan of we're splitting it up by region, Birmingham has 20 MPs, blah 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 blah, and that's what we're doing, and it's pure PR within the regions. That is a very simple concept for everybody to understand. If you're in this area, you just pick a party, done. So you've got the regional element and the proportional element. That's the one side. The other side of it is, and this is a bit I'm going to try not to be too emotional about. Right now, what I've been spending all they're doing is the analysis of what Nigel Farage just published on his Substack, which is Britain is a 2-tier state against white people. It is basically Mein Kampf as far as I'm concerned. It is full on. Ethnic minorities are going to replace Brits. It is pouring fuel on the fire of everything that's happening in Belfast. And I've joked in the past, although when I was joking, I did genuinely mean that. I've said things along the lines of, if Zach Polanski isn't the next prime minister, I don't see myself surviving the next 10 years. The reason why I said that is because I don't see Keir Starmer winning, and therefore it's either going to be Nigel Farage or Zach Polanski. And if Nigel Farage gets into power, given that he has just chosen to platform people like Lucy Connolly, people who have literally pled guilty to inciting racial hatred, people who call for ethnic minorities to be burned alive, given the things that he said about Belfast, given the things he cited in the riots, given the fact that he is explicitly in favor of pure racism and supporting racist terroristic violence on our streets, add to that things he said recently, and the fact that with me personally, he has physically dragged me out of 4 Reform Party rallies. There, as far as my likelihood of being able to survive the next few years, if he's in power, given that if in a rally he only controls that space, if he controls the whole country, people such as myself are not in good nick. That is the price that we pay if we go into the next election under first past the post and Nigel Farage gets 30% of the vote. This isn't maybe we don't have time sort of thing. It is life and death for a lot of people. People are being burned out of their homes in Belfast. It's not something that I think we can afford to say, but maybe we don't have time for it.
For me, I agree completely, and what a nightmare statement that you have to make on that, basically. But I'm just going to make a counter argument that if Andy Burnham gets in and says, I'm going to change the voting system to stop Nigel Farage, I don't think that's going to play politically well. I think what he has to do is beat Farage and beat the argument. And I think that's the most important thing that he's playing in Makerfield, is if he beats Reform in that election, in that by-election, when Keir Starmer and the Labour government are incredibly unpopular, right, then that lays down the foundation for how we politically beat them with an argument, because there is PR in Northern Ireland and there's no fucking government in Northern Ireland, basically. Like PR is not necessarily going to be the solution if the right can say, well, you rigged the vote. I mean, it's a Trump argument. Farage will just turn around and say, you've rigged the voting system against us, and that makes us the underdogs.
Two things there. You don't go in with the argument of we need PR to stop Farage. You bring in PR on the basis of 2 things. 3 things. 1, the public wants it. 2, you use the same populist take back control narrative that won Brexit of right now the majority of votes in the UK don't count. 3, if Nigel Farage dares to question PR, you play play all the footage of him literally supporting PR as he has done for the past 20 years. And in terms of PR not being the panacea, yes, PR, the phrase we use in law is necessary but not sufficient. It is a necessary thing in order to stop the far right, given in in all but 3 elections since World War II, the majority of votes have gone to Labour, the SNP, the Greens, and the Lib Dems. We are a broadly speaking progressive voting country. However, we have a voting system right now that gives power disproportionately to parties that are more right wing than the actual people. And when you say it's up to Andy Burnham to beat Nigel Farage on the arguments in, I can't remember which one it was, but it was Winston Churchill's second term. He got fewer votes than Labour, but still won.
Yeah,
he got fewer votes than Labour, but still won.
This is
so beating. So the notion of we have to beat him in the argument. The point is, it's a rigged game. Why fight him on the rigged game when we have the chance to fight him on the fair game?
Yeah, no, I agree with you. But I do think it's a difficult sell because I think it looks like voter rigging, and I think Trump has laid the foundations for 10 years to say, you're just rigging the elections.
But I don't mind them saying that. I think this is the problem that the Democrats did. This is what the Democrats did in America. They went, we've got to do everything by the system, everything by the book. What Andy Burnham should do if he becomes prime minister over the next few months, he should go after Farage with lawfare, whatever you want to call it. That man, Femi's right, that man is an absolute fucking menace. And he's incited a riot in Southport. He incited a riot in Southampton. He has written this. I was just looking at it, Femi, the Substack. I was looking at the review of it on the Independent site. And he said that when they're he says that Britain has become a 2-tier state against white people. This was something that he also said when he couldn't have his fancy bank account. You know, the Coots bank account? He talked about there being 2-tier banking because they wouldn't let him have this fancy bank. And you're like, there is a 2-tier system in this country.
And I agree with you. But
Farage is on one side of it.
All I'm saying is I don't think you can link proportional representation to beating the right. And I do, even though in practical terms it will help. But I also think that Burnham, and I think Burnham might be uniquely position to be able to do this, basically, is to actually unite that pragmatic left of politics, that progressive left of politics, where we don't, like, even under the first past the post system, you don't have to keep other parties out of government. You don't have to do that. It's entirely in the prime minister's.
Okay, but you realise when
reaching.
I think most people voted in the last election to get the Tories out, though. Come on.
Yeah, but we end up in a situation where the left are competing with each other constantly in elections. You know, I've lived in constituencies where I'm fighting the Green Party on behalf of the Labour Party just because I've always been a member of the Labour Party.
Mike, I'm sensing the problem here is that you seem to be a supporter of first past the post. That seems to be the core problem here.
No, I'm not at all. I've always been in favour of proportional representation. I'm just saying, in a practical sense, with 2 years to go, with a brand new leader with no mandate, I'm not sure how you get it across.
Well, he has the ability to. Yeah, the Labour membership overwhelmingly supports it, so you've got no problem with the members. You've got no problem with the MPs who know that the membership want it. So as far as can he do it, he can do it. He wouldn't even need a referendum. He could just do it. The referendum is the sell, which I'm happy to go with if you've got time. But if you don't have that, again, life and death. I don't care. Like you're seeing what's happening over in America with Trump literally executing people in the street. If we get to that point and we have people being rounded up and them literally talking about concentration camps, and our defense was, well, we thought that 2 years we had other stuff to do. We will be absolutely pilloried in the history books.
I think the thing that I mentioned to that as well, let's say Burnham gets in, what, we're talking September, November, December, maybe? That's when you've got this massive cost of living crisis heading towards us.
Yeah.
He's going to be screwed. And it'll play right into Farage's hands. I just said it's predicted to be 50% increase in food prices, plus gas and electric. He's going to deal with that. And what you've said, Femi, that's just going to be absolute bait to Farage, because he'll just start saying the same stuff again and going, look, it's the cost of living, get rid of all these people, and you'll reduce all your costs, which is complete fantasy gibberish Nazi stuff.
Yeah.
But this is the problem I see with Burnham coming in at that point. He's going to be landing in a huge mess. Well, Starmer's going to continue it, and Farage can just keep repeating the message. It's no different to what Hitler did in many respects, because he just kept saying the same thing, simple solutions to complex problems, and it's the fault of the people coming into the country. Yeah. This is the problem I see, and I don't see how we can get out of it, because even this is out of our control. This is down to Trump and whether or not he can sort out the strait, which I don't think he can.
Sorry, as far as beating Farage goes, if you are a competent politician, that is not difficult. The reason why, again, one of the reasons why I've been so pissed at Keir Starmer for the past few years is because winning the argument on Brexit and Farage is not difficult, and you don't even have to be quote unquote political to do it. All you have to do is go down to any farm and literally put out videos. You barely even speaking. You sat up as a farmer. You sat up as a small exporter. You sat up as a fishing worker, and have them tell you the story. And then let Nigel Farage dare to attack those people that you're sat in front of. Those stories you can repeat with the car industry, with the NHS, all those things, and you literally say. And the Food and Drink Association, literally the organization that represents our industries in terms of food and drink, sit down with them and then get them to show you to their members and various industries. And we sell this pork pie in this place, and it's raised by X%. It's not difficult, especially you have the resources of Downing Street to make that happen. You put out videos like that, you barely saying a word and just having the British people speaking for you. Easy done. And Nigel Farage is history, but Keir Starmer is choosing not to do that.
But their comms we've been saying for 7 years, Labour's comms are absolute tosh. And it's not, this got brought up in that interview I had with Kinnock. He said it himself, he said it's a load of crap. And he can't figure out why. Like, no one can understand why Labour's comms are so abysmal. And it's stuff like that that would make a lot of sense.
I still argue that if you're a marketing person and you've got a shit product, then it's difficult to blame the comms. The issue really is Farage having a lack of ideology of any description. Not Farage, sorry, Starmer. What are you selling with Starmer?
Yeah,
and my worry at the moment actually is that Starmer got elected as I'm not the Tories. He now positions himself as I'm not Farage, and Burnham is coming in and saying I'm not Starmer. I'm not hearing a lot from Burnham that's any different. In particular, basically,
well, he rationalize everything, which is bold. To come back to the PR thing, because I think that is an urgent topic now. I don't disagree with Femi at all. My fear is that they haven't, the Labour Party, actually prepared a PR plan. The kind of thing that you could do in the background, a playing card that you can pull out when you need it, if you get into trouble. So, my question is, Femi, do you have, or do you know anyone who does have, whether it be Open Britain or whether it be any of the other campaigns, have a roadmap for how a government would go from a standing start to getting PR agreed through the Parliament, set up, established, public educated and ready to go?
The first step is obviously Make Votes Matter as the main organisation pushing for PR. Always have been. So I'm sure they have this ready to go entirely. As far as the public campaign,
how sure are you? And because there's a difference between being advocacy for a principle and then having preferred models, and actually road mapping something out in terms of timing.
That I could check. I believe I've heard things along that line before, but I haven't checked in with them on that topic in a while, so I need to check. But as far as the campaign itself, and in terms of the public, again, it is a case of being populist with it, saying the UK isn't a democracy.
Oh, I get all of that bit. I'm just thinking about, if you're telling a government it's feasible, you need to show them a document saying this is the timings.
Yeah, I hear that, and I'll reach out to Make Votes Matter on that point.
Okay. On another point as well, we're just talking about Kippering, UKIP. No, what are they called now? The Brexit Party. No, hang on, Refuck. That's the one. Who are different from Restart. No, what's the other one called? The Restore. That's it. And then there's Reclaim.
National Socialist Party, isn't it?
Then there's the People's Popular Front of Judea. Anyway, listen. So one of the things they could do as well, which actually Burnham could do straight away. as soon as he gets in, and it will fit with what's in the Labour manifesto right now, right? The one that they got elected on in 2024. It's going after the corruption in politics. And the most corrupt politician that there is Nigel Farage. He earned $2 million in his first year as a politician, as an MP, in this country, on the side. That's in addition to his 91,000 that he gets from that. Also he gets what? How much does he get from the EU each year that we had to pay out for his pension, his EU pension?
60k or something
60K,
crazy.
something like that. Yeah.
Okay, so here's the thing, Graham. All of that you're saying about him, bad, terrible, all the rest, does that undermine his own voter base? Because we were talking just before about Donald Trump and the fact that his base loved that he was criminal on different fronts, because he obviously was above the law, had more agency, and as long as he was representing them, the more power he had outside the frameworks of a normal politician's behavior, the better, the more superhuman. So what is it about Nigel Farage that would blow his promise with his base?
You don't need to. It's the money. He needs the money. He cannot live off £91,000 a year and whatever his pension is off the EU. He lives a life where he's got like 17 houses. He lives a very, very rich person's house. He needs the money coming in. If you say no politician can have a second job, that's it. You're an MP in this country. That's your job. You can't have another one. Or you can make a special exception for pilots and doctors, and people have to put a few hours in each week. But if you do that, it's 100% income tax.
I don't see a world where his donors simply don't pile in and funnel money to him off the back door. He'll get money other ways.
Yeah, and if you do that, it's illegal. You go to jail. Put him in jail.
They kind of don't care whether he's an MP or not either. It doesn't really bother his donors as long as he's got the platform that he's got. Basically, it's he's got no power he's got less power as an MP than he had as a GB News presenter. To be honest with you, so I think what we're all suggesting is that there's a bunch of things about our democracy that do need fixing, and somebody needs to come in with a narrative that, as Mike quite rightly says, is well planned out and war gamed as to how we'll do it over what period. You've still got the fact that in the manifesto for the Labour Party, reform of the House of Lords was in there. If you want to play with PR, then start reforming the House of Lords and having 75% of it elected under a PR system or something, basically.
Sorry. Every time I keep hearing things that basically are delaying tactics to PR. The priority is House of Commons.
I just want to bounce back at you that if somebody came in with a narrative about all of our democratic problems, all of the things that are perceived as problems within our system, and PR was one of them, I think you'd stand a better chance of playing out that narrative. But as we've clearly said in this meeting, we're all demanding PR, and none of us have got any idea who's got the plan. And we're expecting it to happen in 2.5 years from the mayor of Manchester, who's not even the leader of he's not even an MP yet.
Keir Starmer's done the same thing. He came in talking about how we'll have a massive democratic revolution. He went for votes 16. He talks about getting rid of hereditary peers, House of Lords reform, all of which are away from the main thing that people actually wanted to done, which was PR. So all I'm hearing is things that get in the way of the thing that will actually stop fascists from taking over the country. Like
hang on, where do you get the information that the majority of people wanted PR?
Every single piece of polling that's been done.
On whose manifesto was it at the last election, which is the last referendum nationally that's been held on this?
Wait.
Even the Liberal Democrats kept stum about it at the last election, basically. I'm just saying, where do you get the information that everybody wants PR?
Every single poll, YouGov does a tracker poll and has been doing it for the past 10 years or so. And also the National Social Attitudes one also did one recently, which was the first major poll. And not only is PR way ahead of first past the post, it's over 50%, and the don't knows are a tiny bit now. It is almost settled will at this point.
Okay.
In theory, but no one's put an actual system before the people. Now, I'm not I'm not saying that to say we shouldn't do it, but I'm just saying that there is a shit ton to achieve before you actually make it real. And I'm very nervous about the fact that I don't think anyone actually has a hard plan as to how to do it. You can try and get that together quickly, but I think with the judgment of people like Neil Kinnock in mind.
Did we not try STV though with Clegg?
Yes.
In Camp.
Yeah.
And that failed, didn't it? Because it was just so complicated.
The Tories sabotaged the referendum.
Yeah. Well, that hits me off. At the time that happened, I was in Australia, and they ran a really smug news report with this really, Sydney-sided Aussie talking through their nose, going, "It turns out that the system we've had in place for the last 50 years here in Australia was just too complicated for the POMs." And I was like, I was dying of embarrassment. Too complicated for the POMs. Yeah, so we didn't get the single transferable votes.
I think the Lib Dems originally wanted PR to be on the ballot paper, but the Tories watered it down to AV, and that was seen to be too complicated because it involved multiple choices. So basically, as far as I'm concerned, something that along the lines of 20 MPs for London, 20 MPs for 15 MPs for Birmingham, split it up regionally, and do it by basic PR on that basis. You vote for a party. Keep it really, really simple, and that's it.
Looking at the YouGov polls, there's only about 23% that actually like proportional, that like first past the post, and then it's 49% saying they want to do PR, and then it's the other 25% saying they don't know.
And not just now, that's been consistent for the past how long?
Since they started doing this particular poll on the YouGov, which was since November 2019.
I mean, I hate to be on the other side of this argument, but 49%, that wouldn't have won us the Brexit vote, would it?
Well, 49% against 22%?
Well, it wouldn't have won.
But when you take out the don't knows, then
you take out the don't knows.
The majority does, yeah.
But I get what you're saying, but I'm
pro PR. I'm just saying you absolutely need if we can say anything about Keir Starmer, he is not a political animal. He's not played the politics of any of this well, basically, within his own party or the country. And I think to expect the Labour Party to turn around now and sell PR when, as Alex quite rightly says, we might have food shortages in 3 months' time, I'm not entirely convinced that it can get done. That's all I'm saying. And I think you need a very positive narrative that involves PR that Andy Burnham can start to build over the next 2.5 years if he becomes the leader of the Labour Party. But you've also got the fact that we might have a divisive fight within the Labour Party for the leadership. You don't know at this stage.
So as far as food prices goes, I've said before how you deal with that in terms of Brexit. You point out that Nigel Farage has made all these things, especially the cost of living worse, and you can walk and chew gum on that. You can say to the EU, our position is we want full single market access as soon as possible. We're happy with the Court of Justice. We're happy with free movement. Just make it happen, and your negotiators can go off and do that whilst you sell PR to the country. That is not an impossible thing to do. What 1 year of campaigning to set it up? 6 months for a campaign. It is done. This isn't beyond the will of man.
Well, I would hope so. Listen, I think Mike's got to go soon. So before you do, Mike, I just wanted to bring the conversation back to the European Union. Femi's been in Brussels this week talking to people in Brussels. About this question, well, other stuff as well, but about this question of will the EU let us back in? Because this is what some people, even who were Remainers back in the day, are like, they're definitely not going to let us back in. Now, I know I've seen Femi's videos from this week. What's been your experience, Mike, in talking to people in the EU about us rejoining the EU?
Oh, no, everyone's supportive of us coming back in. I mean, there are obviously some people that negotiated Brexit with Boris Johnson and David Frost, and they feel burnt from it and resentful from it. But as far as all the European capitals are concerned, it would be brilliant for them. as far as most of the leading figures in the Commission are concerned, it would be, real proof of what the EU is about. And as far as the citizenries of all of the European countries, there'd be no resistance to it whatsoever. So I don't know where this idea came from that they wouldn't let us back in. I think partly that's
I think it's projection.
a bit, yeah, a bit, and picking up on maybe some comments from some Europeans who've said, no, you've made your bed, you can lie in it, on occasion. But then also maybe I think I don't know where it's come from. It may have been sort of truer a bit earlier that people, checked themselves on presuming that we could just walk back in and thought that we shouldn't have that exceptionalism. But where we are now, because, all of Europe is looking at the dynamics of Putin and Trump and Xi as well. I mean, it makes sense. And the exciting option now in humanity is resisting all these bullying strongmen and actually seeing not just Europe come together, but also pulling in Canada and Australia and New Zealand and Iceland and, everyone, the middle countries, Europe and Commonwealth getting together to say, you know what, we can do the West without Trump, and we're going to beat Putin, and we're going to build enough of our own sort of tech sovereignty and defense sovereignty and trade sovereignty that will be good against all of these big bullies. And in fact, the world in the future is going to be looking towards Europe, not America, as the level-headed, reliable, fair-minded, non-violent upholder of international structures, including United Nations International Criminal Court.
And international standards as well.
See, Mike,
Mike,
that's the narrative that we need to hear, I think, because I think the argument at the moment that militarily it makes sense for us to be aligned with Europe makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And I think standing up to these bullies and where America has let the side down in terms of the capitalist partnership, basically, I think that's absolutely the argument to be making.
It's the full package. It's putting up the walls of safety round the civilized, fair-minded West. So
it was my dream 10 years ago during Brexit that we did something on the Remain side that involved Spitfires. And I think that's where we're at again, basically, because that's how you neutralize Farage. It's pretty simple. Is that you just need to do something that's about, we won the war.
Yeah. We had to cover wind turbines and Spitfire symbols, those little round things, right? And then all the gams will see them on the hill and go, "Oh, it reminds me of the war that I was never involved in. Oh, yeah, that one that ended before I was born. Oh, yeah. I love it. I love it." So back to Femi. Sorry,
can I ask?
Come on,
just quickly, just on two topics that seem to, I don't hear too much about it. Has anyone discussed anything about Gibraltar or the free ports issue?
I think Labour have done away with the free ports, haven't they? Because I've not heard anything. Because there was going to be a free port up here in the northeast, wasn't there? There's a big con job that
Hull has one.
Been going on about.
I know that some of the national parks down south, which are huge, have been turned into special economic zones. But has that been brought? Because I know that the problem with the free ports and special economic zones are the long-term contracts that Sunak gave them, which goes against EU regs. And we can debate over this with Spain. But they seem, or depending on the government in Spain, which seems to rotate quite rapidly, either they want to take Gibraltar and control it, or they're happy to work alongside the UK with it, depending on who's in. Has that come up in conversation or? Nothing at all about Gibraltar. I mean, literally, the Spanish football team are chanting about taking Gibraltar back. Which I assume would it's obviously saying
the Treaty of Utrecht, 1648.
Indeed, but I'm just curious: has that ever come up as an issue? Has Spain been talking about?
There are still 12 free ports, aren't there? Free port areas in the UK. It's
yeah,
they're
there's a
still
few
chuntering along, basically.
Yeah. But this is the thing that one of the reasons why when Spain was trying to join the European Union the EEC in the 1980s, access to Gibraltar was a big thing because they said they basically had to give up their call to retake Gibraltar in order to rejoin the EU. And then obviously the border opened and it was nice and easy for Spanish citizens to go to Gibraltar and British citizens to go to Spain. No problem. You had people coming in from Spain to work in Gibraltar. And then the European, the EU referendum just absolutely screwed that all up because, 97% of Gibraltar? 95% Gibraltar votes to stay. But they're now part of Schengen, aren't they? They've sort of quasi-joined Schengen.
So I think with Gibraltar, it's like one of those other Brexit issues where the news has just knackered out on it. They've just realised we need to make life easy for the citizens there, and that's the end of that. With the special economic zones, I think the issue has largely gone away because they haven't reached their final form as was initially envisaged, where they had their own rules that went against or were independent of, to a degree, the rules of the nation. Meaning that they sat outside the usual democratic checks and balances, which was the big fear at the time, rather than just, some trading benefits by being in a enlarged area around a port. So I think their development has only got to that sort of limited stage of a few tax breaks here and there, and hasn't gone to the full independent city-state kind of.
Singapore on Thames, they wanted, didn't they?
Singapore on Thames, yeah.
But we had free ports up till 2013 was the last free port.
Yeah, these are different though.
Yeah,
these
but we had them under the EU, and then they were like, we need to leave the EU so we can have those free ports that we used to have in the EU. Yeah, well, I was going to ask Femi, when you were over there, Femi, did you talk to anyone in Brussels who was like, no, fuck off, we don't want you back?
I heard a degree when I was talking to some of the advisors. There was some hesitation around basically what if Farage takes over, and it was very much just that you guys are still risking heading in that direction. In which case, all this talk about rejoining becomes completely theoretical. So that was their main concern. I think Gibraltar got mentioned once as a current issue, but that it all gets solved if we rejoin anyway, so it becomes a non-issue once that's sorted. So, yeah.
Well, what did the Restore Party, Rupert Lowe, is it? Rupert? He's a proper Rupert. He was talking about rebuilding a wall. Oh, no, it was the DUP, sorry. The DUP said they wanted a hard border on the island of Ireland in Prime Minister's questions last week.
Well, Braverman wasn't far off talking about that today. Sunday, this morning. She was talking about closing off the border
in Ireland. Oh my God!
Like, she didn't say it directly. She clearly inferred it by talking about closing off from us leaving the ECHR, and she was sort of suggesting that if everyone had just followed what she said when she was in government, then none of this would have happened. And it was like, that sounds like you want a hard border. Are you nuts?
Yeah. I don't think people remember enough and bring it up enough. And there is a clip of Jacob Rees-Mogg saying about the Troubles, literally saying, we could have it as we did during the Troubles. You have a security border where you check your this as you go through the border, and everything works quite nicely. Literally saying, let's go back to the border arrangements of the Troubles, and that was in 2018.
The new IRA came out on. The new IRA came out on Channel 4 in 2018 and said in an interview, you put that up, we will blow it up. It is a declaration of war. They are absolutely mad. And then I think there was the Conservatives sent someone round to check the border to figure out whether or not they could just have permanent flying drones, like monitoring the border. You're just like, it's insane. It's so out of touch. Anyway, I'm going to have to go.
Oh, no. No. All right, mate. Well, thanks very much for coming on this morning.
Yeah, pleasure. This morning?
This evening. I'm sorry. I don't know what day it is, mate.
What time zone are we in?
It's been a long year. All right, mate. All right, mate. Thank you very much. Cheers, Alex.
I'll skedaddle too.
Okay. All right, Mike.
All right.
Thanks for coming on. Really appreciate it, mate. I'll see you on
Nice to
Sunday,
meet you, Mike.
Saturday.
Likewise, mate.
I don't know what day it is. Saturday, 12 o'clock, Park Lane. Is that right?
Okay.
Was it Park Lane? I thought it was Temple Station, wasn't it?
I don't know. Oh, God.
We should probably get this right.
I was going to say, right?
Up quickly now.
Is there a brewery somewhere that we can organise a party at?
Because I believe it's a different route this time. We're going along over a bridge or something. That's what I heard.
I'll start off as well. Have a good
thanks
night.
for coming on, Femi.
Nice to see you,
man. Get some sleep. Get some sleep.
I shall try.
Thank you. Love you, man. All right, that's it. We got Peter Core should be coming on in a moment, and he's organising the march in London, so he'll be able to tell us a few details about it.
Some details. You got some super chats to catch up.
I have got a lot of super chats to catch up on, so let's use this opportunity to do that now. Also, Scott might come on. If you're watching, Scott, come on. George Dawes, we're never going to get PR for the 29 election, are we? I doubt it. I doubt we'll be able to get it done that quickly, to be honest with you. Maggie Pie, 20 Swedish krona. Can we trust you? You might be an X for a reason. EU flag. Yeah, indeed. No, you can trust me. You can trust Mike. This one.
But not. Don't trust the politicians.
Don't trust the politicians. George only, thank you very much for the £5 super chat. Would Farage really try to claim that PR would be rigging the system against refuck? Yes. I mean, he'll say anything, wouldn't he? He'll feed his own mother to the ravenous blood.
I think it's really difficult because Femi made a really powerful argument of the fear involved in this.
Yeah, we can get rid of him. We can get rid of him by putting him in jail.
I think
this is like invading Iraq all over again, mate.
No,
why invade Iraq to get rid of one person?
But the problem is, it is like, I think we need to look at Trump's playbook because Trump looked at Putin's playbook and Putin looked at Hitler's playbook.
I'm looking at
fundamentally, we need to
lack of playbook.
We need to be very careful about, like, personally, I'd love to see Farage put in jail. Personally, I'd love to see Farage squashed by PR. But I just think that they have set up a narrative for the last 20 years that says that if you meddle with elections, that's against them. If you take them to court, that's lawfare. And fundamentally, those arguments, that playbook is what Farage will use. And therefore, we need I thought Mike made a great argument for a narrative that we can start to sell. And I think that's what I've always said, is that we just need a story that we can tell that makes everybody believe this is the right thing to do.
Yeah.
And that isn't about populism. That isn't just about Burnham's ability to make videos. That's fundamentally about having a plan, and Mike did bring up, is there a plan for PR? And there isn't. So all of us saying we need PR is great. Maybe we all need to sit down and write a plan for how you achieve it politically, basically, and present it to the party.
But I agree, and I think that this is, it will be a big process to move our parliamentary system, which is hundreds of years old, to a proportional representation system.
But there's nothing wrong with it being hard. You just need it. All it means is you need a really smart solution that everybody can buy into.
When we were talking about it in 2024, was we were getting replies, and I door knocked for Labour as well. No one was talking about proportional representation on the doorstep. It was
freaking. It was potholes, and as somebody that's managed to get somebody that's got a car recently, I kind of suddenly see that political argument. Yeah. Especially with the roads around here. There must be more super chats. Maggie is been very generous.
Hang on. I'm trying to wangle another special guest. Maggie, can't see how AB could be more successful than Keir Starmer. I can. Well, he could sound like a normal person.
And if he gets the internals right, if he gets the party are behind him, I think, in terms of grassroots.
Yeah.
I don't know parliamentary speaking how many people are basically, but there's a lot to get right. There's a huge amount to get right.
Yeah. I mean, Andy Burnham is just better at the whole politics game than
he's a politician, whereas Keir Starmer isn't really.
No, he's QC.
Is an
or
elected
KC
bureaucrat.
now, I guess. KC and the Sunshine Bunch or whatever it's called. Martin Harrow, £2 late fee. Oh my God, that's very kind of you, Martin Harrow, but you certainly didn't have to pay a late fee. But what you have done is...
No, where were you, Martin? Come on.
No, that's fine. It's fine. It means that 3, 2, 1, cunt Fefe! Yay! We lost the Fefe! Yay! And then we've got JC.
I think I slightly object. We're not the Catholic Church. You don't have to pay your way out of your sin of not turning up.
It's the original sin was being late. JC 77701. Thank you very much for the £10 super chat. The angry boomers who supported Refuck and Restore know that they need to know that they will be dependent, that they will be dumped in a ditch, by Fartage when they soon become healthcare dependent elderly.
Yeah. Totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
Absolutely. So, yeah, I mean, it is just... Yeah, hang on. We've got one more from Maggie Pye. Thank you very much for the 20 Swedish krona. Could you not study countries with PR? And then the Swedish flag, the Finnish flag, the German flag, the Danish flag, the Norwegian flag, and the Icelandic flag. Look at that.
Problem is, Maggie,
I know my flags.
That's exactly the Remain problem was that we kept lauding what was going on in Europe. It's not going to... Politically, it will not work for us to say, hey, we should be more like the Germans.
Hey, we should be more like the Germans. I think that we should have hard rejoin. I think we should have Schengen and Euro and everyone speaking German. Hello, Peter Core. How are you feeling, mate?
Hello.
This is Peter Core of the National Rejoin March. You've just marched to bloody Brussels, haven't you? Did you see Femi when you were there?
No, he was there 2 days before me. When I saw his video, I messaged him and went,
"Oh, walked faster."
Be there Friday.
Really good to see you, mate.
Yeah, you too. You too.
So we were talking about your march at that next weekend that we're all going to. Well, me and Mike Galsworthy and Femi are going to it. So where are we meeting? When's it starting?
Hey, I'm planning to go as well.
Are you coming as well, Mike?
Awesome.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Let's buy you a pint.
Yeah, I heard you get the...
And then drink it in front of you because you don't drink.
Yeah, exactly. Thanks.
That's fine. Sorry, Peter, you go on.
That's all right. No, I came on because I heard you get the start point wrong, so I thought I'd better come on and...
Yeah, good fella. Come on, tell us where are we meeting? What time?
Where are we meeting?
We need to know.
It's outside Temple Underground Station after 12 noon, and the march sets off at 1. And we're crossing Waterloo Bridge and Westminster Bridge, then up and back round past number 10 onto Parliament Square.
Nice.
Brilliant.
That's an unusual route.
It is, yeah. As far as I can see, no one's ever done that route. And I'm hoping I'm not going to find out there's a massive reason why not when it happens.
Yeah.
Will that take us over a bridge?
There's a human capacity for the bridge or something.
I remember someone saying something about a bridge. Did we go over a bridge?
Yeah, two bridges. We're building bridges at National Rejoin March. See?
And then, so where are we ending up at the end?
So Parliament Square. So we'll get there just before 2:30, I reckon. Okay. And then all of the speeches start at 3 p.m. And we've got some cool speakers. Do you want to know the speakers?
Yeah, I want to know the speakers.
Yeah, totally.
So we've got, I'm just putting up a list now so I don't get it wrong. So we've got Neil Kinnock.
Oh, wow.
Excellent.
Layla Moran from Lib Democrats.
Yeah.
Terry Reintke.
Terry who?
Terry Reintke.
Who's that?
She's the leader.
I heard Terry Wanker, I'm afraid, but it could be your microphone.
Bring down the tone, Mike. Why don't you?
I'm going to tell you said that, so don't come near the stage.
If we wanted a populist left-wing politician, though, Terry Wanker, that would get the reform vote in, wouldn't it? Perfect.
Well, we've asked Zach Polanski to come, who's a populist left-wing MP, but he's not answered yet. We've got Sholamosh Shug Mabimu, Mike Galsworthy, who you just had on, Femi Oliwole, who you just had on, Edith Berryman, who's a student journalist and upcoming TikTok star, Richard Corbett, who is the last leader of the Labour Party in the EU Parliament.
Former MEP.
Yeah. Madeleine Kay, Sally Dodson, who I believe you guys all know.
Yep.
Richard Morley, Sue Wilson, and Steve Bray is going to be his last appearance.
That's fantastic.
Give us a couple more.
What is he dying? What's on with Steve?
Yeah. He's got a week left apparently.
Oh shit! Oh well, I hope he makes it a good one. Hey, listen, before we go on,
at least you managed to book him. Pete.
Yeah, exactly. His last will and testament. Maggie Pie, sorry, I missed you. You dropped another super chat in. That's very generous of you. 50 Swedish krona. Militarily, it makes a lot of sense to have you in the single market. The problem is we're seeing with food shortages were a predictable security headache. Yeah, they absolutely were. But yeah, we were talking. So, Peter, you've been watching the show up to this point before you jumped on.
Can I just say that that's a great lineup, Peter? But I think you're missing cartoonists from the.
Yeah, you should have more cartoonists like Mike.
Definitely,
like
who's
Mike,
a cartoonist on the bill.
Yeah.
Do you like giving speeches, or do you just want to show a cartoon on the screen?
I think, yeah, probably both.
Oh, we have we still got time to make a video?
100%, yeah. As long as you get it to me by Wednesday, then we'll put a video up. Do you do any video stuff, Mike?
I do actually, yeah. Yeah. What do you need, Pete?
Just send me your videos in landscape HD, and I'll show it on screen. I'd love to.
Okay.
So 16:9.
Yeah, please.
Take a video. Yeah, let's do it, because you're not going to project it to everyone's phone, are you? Are you, Mike? No.
Sorry?
I'm just saying, you're not going to project it to everyone's phone. It's going to go on a big screen. Hey, it's Scott Williams. Oh, no, he's gone again. He ran away. He came on.
Scott Williams.
He was like, oh, bloody hell, it's that Graham bastard. And he went off again. Hey, Scott, how you doing, mate? I haven't seen you for ages. Well, actually, no, I saw you last week.
Sure, we had a show last week.
Yeah, we did. But you haven't been on this show for ages.
It has been a minute.
Yeah,
It has been a hot minute indeed.
So we're coming to this march on Saturday. Do you want to come? We're all going. Come on. Come on.
Where is it? Where's it going to be?
We're meeting at Temple Station. Is that right? At 12 o'clock.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
If you want to meet me a bit earlier, because I'm getting in on the train at like 10:30, so I'm going to have an hour or so to fuck around. So
it's going to be the best march ever.
What's the march for? What are we marching?
You're joining the European Union.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. Is that water? No.
It's gin.
It's just, is it pure gin? Is there any tonic in that?
No, it's actually, because I've got color going on in my room at the moment. It is pink. It's a pink aromatic tonic with some gin.
You know what they say about men who drink pink gin, don't you? Hey,
I love a big gin and a big dick.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. No, they say they like pink gin. Anyway, so yeah, come along to the march. Come along.
I'll let you know.
Oh God, don't be like that. Come on, everyone in the chat. Come on, we're gonna meet. This is a pub around the corner, Peter, that you know from Temple Station.
Someone else always organises that, but not beforehand, because I'll be like way too busy from about 8 o'clock in the morning.
Okay.
But certainly afterwards, when we go and celebrate, the Prime Minister applying to join the EU an hour after the event.
As a result. Yeah.
Fantastic. No, but afterwards, I've got to shoot off.
Don't set the bar too low, Peter.
Your optimism is amazing.
I've got to shoot off after the march because I've got to be in Liverpool. Because I promised I'll meet A. Thompson, who's having a meet-up with his mates.
No, in Liverpool?
Yeah, he's having a meet-up in Liverpool.
He has mates.
Well, Patreon chums. Patreon chums.
Oh, people that pay to be his friend. Okay.
Yeah, you know that one of our friends who's probably watching right now. He's got Booge tattooed on his knuckles.
No, which one's that?
Yeah, one of our mutuals.
Who has Booge tattooed on their knuckles?
You have to come out for a drink with us and find out, won't you?
I want to know now. Tell me now.
I'm not telling you.
Why?
Do I get your live taken down if I vape on the screen like on TikTok?
No.
Oh, sick.
If you what?
You can't
if I vape on screen.
Oh, I think you said something else. I was like, no.
No. I wouldn't do that off screen either, really.
Yeah, as long as I can't smell it, I don't care. Mike sometimes does that. Mike, have you given up again?
What, the vape or the cigarettes?
Oh,
no, the vape is very much still.
Okay. Thing is with vapes, right?
Behind the microphone.
Cigarettes, right? Cool. Right, adult, what's his name? James Dean. Look how cool I am, right? He was gay. And then, like, those things, they look like a fucking toy. They look like a child's toy. They look like a little recorder.
That does not look like a toy. Look,
playing little
come
tune.
on.
The only children can hear.
What is not cool about
Okay, that's
smelling
quite cool.
like raspberry cola?
Well, Mike's pipe is quite cool. I have to give him that.
It doesn't smell of raspberry cola, though, does it? I mean, let's be honest. Let's be honest. These.
Are you saying Chevy Coke doesn't taste of cherries? What?
No. The Coke does, but these vapes, they just smell of vape. To people that don't vape, it's just, there's a distinct smell that is just called vape, and that's what it smells like. You guys might taste, fresh ice breezed raspberry. We don't smell that shit. All we smell is vape.
Do you know Peter came on here to promote the march on Saturday, and we're just sitting here talking about bloody vaping. I don't know.
Yeah.
March will be very good on Saturday, Peter. I'm looking forward to it.
If it's an anti-vaping march, then we're all there.
I'm there.
Yeah. What flavour is your one, Mike?
They vary. They vary between.
And what about your vape?
It's definitely hitting 9 o'clock. You guys are being gross.
Both are very much bitter cherry flavour.
Very much. Oh, this sounds like a plan. Maybe we could do the march, and then we could all get on the train and come to Liverpool. And we could have a night out with Aid and his patrons.
I might be meeting up a friend on Saturday, so we'll see. But yeah, I'm supposed to be originally meeting up with a friend of mine, so I haven't seen him for a while.
Well, we're meeting at 12, so it's quite early. Yeah. So I can meet you before then, and then you can go meet your mate while I go and march. We're marching over 2 bridges, by the way.
Oh, that sounds like fun.
We're going to march over one bridge and then come back over another.
So you're gonna go south of the river for 5 minutes and then go and run away.
I think so. Is that right, Peter?
And anyone who doesn't come, right, if the Prime Minister doesn't apply to rejoin an hour after the event,
it's their fault.
It's their fault.
It's your fault, Scott.
Listen, it's not going to be my fault.
It is. You come over here, all the way from America, As George III once sang, you'll be back, and you were.
Listen, I voted against Brexit, okay? I went to the polling station and voted literally to stay in the EU, okay?
You obviously didn't vote enough.
Yeah, you didn't vote hard enough. You've gone back in and voted 1.7 million times more.
Yeah.
I can only do what's in my limitation of being able to do. Okay,
legal restrictions and stuff.
I put the vote in.
Could you imagine?
Fucking want?
Could you imagine if Farage found out that an immigrant had voted 1.7 million times?
Yeah, well, I live in a housing association flat, so as far as he's concerned, he's going to chuck me out of here if he ever gets into power anyway, right?
Yes.
And Badenoch.
Oh my God! Did you read about that? He's on about chucking out foreign nationals.
Yeah,
I did a Substack.
I mean, I'm a citizen of this country. I am a British citizen, but I'm also a foreign national, right? Because I'm a citizen of America. So, what do you do then?
But the thing is, right, if he did that, all he's going to do is make rent prices increase for everyone, not just foreign nationals.
No, exactly.
Because supply and demand will make the rent prices go up for everyone.
Exactly.
Does he not think anything he says through, ever?
No. I think he has thought it through. That's the problem.
Well, yeah.
He has thought it through. He's going to make landlords very, very rich.
Is he a landlord?
Those are the morons that are going to vote for him. So, I think he really does think these things through. And you know how you go, you think it through, it's going to be horrible. Yes, that's what he wants. He wants it to be horrible. You know what I mean? When he went up and lied about the LGBTQ plus community support reform. Oh, bitch. No, they don't. Shut the fuck up. And what he's doing there is he's gaslighting people to make that. Oh, you guys don't really want pride because you have your equal rights now. So we're going to get rid of it. Oh, well, okay. I see what you're doing there. You're trying to do something negative against my community to fucking and make us look and try to convince us that we want that. Yeah. Bullshit. It's a lie.
He has said to all the landlords, good points, that I'll make you rich. Because we'll check out everyone from social housing. They'll have to go into private housing. Yep. And if they don't, they'll be deported. Someone's going to be so desperate that they'll give landlords.
They'll pay whatever they have to.
Scumbag.
Listen, it makes total sense to me.
Maggie Pie Sorry, breaking news. Maggie Pie has dropped 20 Swedish krona in to the fund, which is about £2. A little quid for Graham's PA piercing fundraiser. I assume that stands for Prince Albert.
That needs.
Are you going to get it done?
Oh, well,
This all
I
needs
have to
explaining.
now. Someone's
Either-
giving me 20 Swedish krona.
Have you got a PA and you're going to pierce them, or is it a Prince Albert?
I'm going to pierce my PA, yeah.
I
I've
used
got
to
a
have
public
a
address
PA.
system. I've got a personal assistant, and I've got a cock ring.
I used to have a PA.
I know you told us about it the other night.
Yeah, it's not.
You were like, I had a piercing once. I won't tell you where it was.
Through
Wink,
the
wink,
top of my
wink.
knob.
My mum watches this. Come on.
Mom, hi.
Hi, this is my gay friend Scott. He wants to
tells us
tell you
all about
about
his
his
gay
knob
piercing.
piercing.
But the March, where is it going to? So you're meeting up at Temple, right? So where's the start? Where's the end?
That's Temple.
A
It's
little bit more
starting
about it.
outside Temple.
Sell it to me. I want the young man at the corner of my screen who I've not heard
Peter.
talk very much.
Go on,
Say
Peter.
it,
Sell
yeah.
it.
Oh, thank you for calling me a young man.
I'm just trying to get down your pants.
It starts at Temple Station, goes over Waterloo Bridge, over Westminster Bridge, then back onto Parliament Square, where we're going to have loads of fun.
Excellent. And is the march going to gather in Parliament Square at the end? Yeah.
Yeah, that's where the rally is. We've got some speeches, and I always shoehorn some drum and bass in and stuff.
It's not a protest without some crusties dancing to drum and bass. It's just
a million percent. Yeah.
Is that going to make you come? I mean, is that going to make you come to the march, Scott?
Oh, I was about to say no. But yes.
Phrasing is everything.
Phrasing is everything when you're talking to the
the Kenneth Williams of our political group.
That's actually where I was trying to go with it, really. I didn't want to say innuendo because innuendo. Innuendo. I was listening to Around the Horn this week, actually, while I was working.
Were you?
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, it
stands up really well.
Yeah. It stands the test of time because it's all a different language anyway, so it doesn't really matter. And if you know half of it, you can follow along.
I'm just contemplating the seriousness of the first hour of this podcast compared to hello, Scott.
This is what this is what Graham wanted.
It's until Bert Raccoons wakes up.
Hey. What happened was he said to me, I said, who are your guests today? And he told me about the one guy who I didn't know who he was.
Femi and Mike.
He didn't mention the fact that my husband was going to be on there. I think that was deliberate.
Yeah.
He didn't mention
I didn't know. I just put the link in the chat and then people just join.
And then I missed him. But the thing was, I was watching. I had it on the TV. I've been watching for about half an hour, and it was Mike going, "Come," when you said my name, and I was like, "I have to go now. I've been summoned by the mic.
I've been summoned."
Well, we're glad you're here now.
But yeah, it's nice to be back. Actually, I'm not gonna lie. It's been a while, and
it's good to have you back, mate.
Yeah, it's good to have you back.
Don't ever apologise for things like that, mate. That's,
your health's got to come first, always. That goes for everyone.
Yeah,
you've had a tough time
about that. So
do you have your own channel, Scott? Am I missing out?
No, I don't. No, I just come on here and
he has TikToks. He has TikToks.
I have a TikTok.
TGA 1976. That stands for the Gay American 1976. And he's very funny. And he likes to get into fights with people over golden showers and whether they are applicable or not.
Listen, I'm completely right on this.
I'm sold.
You know I'm right.
I'm completely right on this one. I
believe Hitler had a thing for them as well. Trump and Hitler and Bonnie Blue. The three of them.
Yeah, didn't Trump have like a hooker pee on him once?
Yeah, something like or it was like something weird, like it was a picture of Obama and he got her to wee on.
No, it was Obama's. He stayed in a hotel in Moscow that Obama had stayed in.
Yeah.
And the rumor is that he paid Russian prostitutes to pee on the bed.
On the bed that he slept on.
That Obama had slept in.
And then what, did he sleep in it? Did he get in the
I
bed?
have no idea. I mean, I wasn't there.
What kind of revenge is that?
Did it-
He was here
despite-
once. That's crazy. That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. He was here
Despite
once. Let's
rumors to
piss
the
on it.
contrary, I was not there filming it. That is not.
I thought
what
it was going to be
happening.
like a glass table type thing.
Many moons ago, I went to a place called Negombo, which is north of Colombo in Sri Lanka, and I went to the hotel that the Queen stayed in, like decades
Did you pee
earlier.
on the bed?
No,
pee
I
on the
shat
bed?
in the toilet. So I've officially shat in the same toilet as the Queen of England.
Oh,
I think we've lost
now
Scott. He was taking
now
a
you
drink just as I said that.
Now you're just rubbing it in with your ability to shit, basically.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mike. Oh
Fuck
no,
off.
it's too
No,
soon.
Your
no,
mom
no.
watches
sorry.
this, Graham.
I'm sorry.
Your
Too
mom.
soon.
She doesn't want to know about your bowel movements. Neither do I.
This was a long time ago. It's
Oh, I hope you've had one since.
This is like two different shows, isn't it? The first half was like
It is, yeah.
very serious political debate, and then this is just like, yeah, I did the shit.
It
once in
was
the toilet.
very serious. I thought there was going to be a fight at one point between
I did.
Femi, before
Yeah, I
between
thought
Femi and
Mike. Yeah, this
I thought it
Mike.
was going to come.
This
to
Mike.
blows.
I didn't mean to do that. I just wanted to put the contrary argument.
Yeah,
that, you know,
contrary.
Yeah, you
It's
did that quite
difficult.
well because Femi was getting quite fucking angry with
Yeah, he's
you.
never going to come back
He's
on
like,
now.
listen,
Thanks
you
a
don't
bunch,
like it,
Mike.
okay?
he will do if I'm not on. That'll
Yeah.
be fine. But I've got nothing against his argument at all. I just come back to the fact that this is. I mean, Peter, where do you sit on this basically in terms of a plan for PR and rejoining the EU? Do you think what if Burnham comes in? Which of those policies do you think he might pursue?
Well, judging by what he's saying right now, neither.
Yeah.
But if he does what some people says and wins, and then mounts a leadership challenge and wins that and becomes the prime minister, then is he likely to change from what he's saying right now? What he's saying right now is different to what he was saying just a few months ago in an interview, certainly on rejoining the EU.
That is one of the things that people are saying about Burnham, isn't it? That he does tend to shift depending on. I mean, he's a populist to a great extent.
It's similar to Starmer, to be honest, in that I voted for Starmer. I was a member of Labour, and I voted for Starmer to be leader purely because I thought he did really well as the shadow Brexit secretary. And then he came in, and one of the first things he said was the lines "make Brexit work," which instantly turned me off. I left the party.
There's an oxymoron for you, isn't it?
So, if it's
make
like
make my cardboard tractor work.
Yeah, if they're going to change on the other pin so quickly like that, which Burnham seems to be doing right now, I just don't know what to really say, to be honest.
Is there not an argument though for, you know, we're not politicians, so it's fine for us to stick to our guns. But if you are a politician, you are representing people and you're their delegate, apparently. So like if you're elected, if he's elected in Makerfield, in a place where they voted 2/3 to leave the European Union, then surely he's got a little bit of, you know, he couldn't just come straight in as a leader and just say, right, that's it, we're rejoining the EU tomorrow.
Well, why not? He's the leader at that point. Why not? Who cares?
Because he needs to represent his constituents.
Oh, fuck his constituents. They were stupid. They should have voted that way in the first place.
Does that really work? When we look at like Labour won with what 33% of the vote in total. So I mean, is that really representing the citizens anyway? When it's not a majority.
That's the point that Femi. I keep calling him that. Femi and Mike were saying.
Hang on, but
you know.
there is a point here as well that if you think about it, well, if you have one particular area where 100% of people vote for you, is that representative of the nation? If you get all the power from like one concentrated area. Because one of the things that First Past the Post does, not that I'm defending it, because I do know that PR will be better and a DeHont system will be better as far as I'm concerned. But if you think about it, you've got to kind of moderate your views because you need to win over loads of constituencies. It's not good enough to just win one or two by 100%. You've got to win, you know, hundreds of constituencies. You've got to get more votes than all the other parties. Not put together, but So you have to try and get people on board that you wouldn't necessarily have to if you were just a pressure group.
Well, under first past the post.
On the first past the post. So Burnham has to moderate some of his views on, say, the EU, rejoining the EU, because he's running in Makerfield. Which he wouldn't have to do if he was running in Riverside in Liverpool. They'll be like, yeah, let's rejoin tomorrow, and he'll get massive votes.
Couldn't you see it? I have seen a recent poll of Makerfield that suggested they would actually vote to rejoin the EU in a referendum now, because it's 2026. I think a lot of people still go on about 2016 like it was a couple of days ago, and it was 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And I honestly think the majority of this country have changed their mind. I genuinely think that.
I agree with you.
Well, in the latest local elections in that area, all of the wards went to refuck, didn't they? There was still a lot of gam gams running around.
That's kind of this is where the polling confuses me, right? Because Reform are on about 28%. That means 72% of the country do not want reform, for starters. But that always gets lost, and I don't really know why. Well, I do know why. It's because of the first past the post system, so it don't matter that it's 28%. They can still win.
Yeah. If we got rid of first past the post, and we had a proportional representation that had some kind of weighted system, but it did allow for a majority winner who might not, through doing the single transferable vote, an AV system where you do, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 for your vote. What if you end up with Farage getting 28% of the votes, the Tories getting 24% of the vote, and then the fuckers teaming up and creating a very, very right-wing party?
You've only got to look at, ironically, what happened in the EU elections. That's entirely where Farage got his political power base from, was to keep winning those elections, basically.
And
they were all under proportional representation. And, one of the problems with PR from that perspective, if you don't get it right, is that a lot of people will vote for a rogue candidate on their second vote, on their transferable vote in certain areas. And certainly in Tory seats, in seats that traditionally are Tory seats, it's highly likely that their second vote would be going to Reform or somebody like them, rather than my second vote is for Labour or the Lib Dems or the Greens. So, you've got to get this right in those terms. And the only way PR works is if you end up with a coalition government. You can't end up with a winner.
But what if the coalition is Reform and the Tories? Then we're fucked, because they will take us out of the European Convention on Human Rights.
I totally agree. Yeah.
So I mean,
it's hard, isn't it?
There's no perfect system. There is no perfect system.
I think if you had to put these into categories of what would be better to do first, I think, as Mike laid out, rejoining the EU makes more sense, and then putting in a new, we're going to reform the way our government works. After that,
I would agree with that.
A new democratic equation. Basically, that just says we're going to change it so that you're represented better. Because if you rejoin the EU, we're going to have proportional representation back again, because that's how we'll be electing MEPs. So, it just makes sense.
What you said earlier,
we have a unified system, unified boundaries, unified vote, redo the whole thing.
What you said earlier about Farage winning European elections, I think if you look at the voter turnout at European elections in this country, though, there is pitiful. We just was not paying attention. And for me, when I always use the word when we rejoin the EU, that's our main thing we need to do is really, really concentrate on European elections and push them hard to make sure we never again send idiots like Farage to that parliament.
I'm actually a proponent of the Australian system of compulsory voting, to be honest.
I'm so against that.
You're against it?
Massively against it.
Why?
Because it forces there's a third of people who vote left wing, there's a third of people who vote right wing, and there's a third of people who don't give a fuck and don't vote for anything. If you force those people who don't give a fuck to vote, they're not going to make an informed vote. They are going to be pissed off that their Thursday afternoon's been interrupted by them having to go to a fucking polling station and have to cast a vote, or they get a fine. And so they just cast a vote for the first name on there. It doesn't stop the Tories over there who call themselves the Liberals. It doesn't stop them from winning. They win all the fucking time. We have this idea in our heads that don't know.
We need a few more candidates called Andrew Aardvark.
Well, I was thinking about what Femi said about every election since the war, apart from a couple of them. The if you put all the left-wing parties together, they got more votes. But then there's a lot of people who would have voted for the Tories. I know people who do this in Liverpool, but they don't vote for the Tories because they know the Tories have got no chance, so they vote for the Lib Dems. And then Femi's putting them in with the left wing. So that's some voters who, given a proportional representation system, will vote for the Tories. And we are a conservative country, and that's what worries me.
The debate amongst us and between me and Femi today, or Femi and I, is evidence to me that we keep talking about this dream of everybody that's on the left of the Tories basically should all get together and form a lovely gang. And in my experience,
let's call it your party.
In my experience, politically, that just never works. You know, it's the very fact that these are separate parties is there for a reason. It's because they ideologically disagree with each other on certain things, basically. And
isn't it working in Spain though? Right now, their system has basically
got great. Their democracy is great. Yeah, it's a relatively new system for them, you know, because they were under a dictatorship until the 80s. So it makes sense. But it's like everywhere that we and the Americans have introduced PR as the form of government, it works. You know, we did it to Germany, we did it to Japan, Europe did it to Spain after Franco. Because actually, when you go into a third-party country and say this is how you're going to run your democracy, it tends to actually work because there's no skin in the game from people. The problem we have is devising a system in the mother of all parliaments, where, you know, we still have people dressing up in frock coats and fucking stockings at the opening of Parliament and handing crowns to each other. You know,
sounds like a good night out, doesn't it, Scott?
We have a
well, you know, I'm always like being the queen of the party.
There's a serious amount wrong with our democracy, and I think to poo-poo the idea that we should have House of Lords reform, I think all of those things actually need addressing. I think the faith in our democracy is diminishing dramatically, and I think the Trump agenda, the Putin agenda, and the Farage agenda is exactly that. Yeah. It's to remove faith in the democratic process, and I think PR is just going to be tinkering around with that unless it's part of a massive sell of this is how the mother of all parliaments has reinvented herself and become a disco dancer. You know, it's like we need an Angela Rayner in parliaments there to come out and go the motherfucker of all parliaments. Yeah, exactly. Somebody's mentioning in the chat, and what about citizens' assemblies? Wheels.
Yeah, sorry, I was going to say that just then. Actually, thank you very much for the super chat, my friend. Go on, Mike.
Yeah,
sorry.
I think we have to get people, non-political wonks like us, engaged in politics again. We need to make that connection. Farage and Trump and everybody else are happily just creating this distinction between government and the people. And we've lost that years ago. And I think there's a number of things that we could start to address, like, you know, connecting your taxation much closer to your votes, giving you some say over the way that's done, even if your party's lost.
Yeah.
I've for years had this idea of making a percentage of your taxation each year under your control. We now have a way of doing that via an app where you could say, actually, I want, even though I've got a green government, I'd like us to spend more money on defense. Because, you know, you end up having to buy a bag of policies from people.
Yeah.
And you know, look at Starmer. You buy into a certain bag of progressive Labour politics, and it turns out he's got some advisors and maybe himself that is anti-trans, that is
which wasn't in their manifesto. It wasn't in their manifesto. They got no mandate for being anti-trans, and yet they are. Maggie Pye, thank you very much for the 50 Swedish krona. Maggie's being very generous this evening. What are the perceived benefits of leaving the ECHR? A hard border on the island of Ireland and a return to the Troubles, sending refugees to Rwanda. Yes. But also it means they can get rid of any employment rights, so you can sack someone for being disabled or black or gay or a woman or menopausal or perimenopausal or they've got
whatever.
They had to leave because they had to go attend their father's funeral. Nope, fuck off. You're losing your job and that's it. You don't get any redundancy pay. Fuck all. And we can do that because we don't have to keep you alive, and we don't have to.
And those are the primary things that they're always arguing for, isn't it? They don't give a fuck about immigration, to be honest.
No.
Brexit has put us in a position with 800,000 plus immigrants coming from Africa and India instead of Europe.
Yeah.
Because we made Europeans
that
feel
showed
unwelcome. Yeah. But it kind of proves that they don't give a fuck, and yet what they're doing, in Northern Ireland and elsewhere, is bringing up now. Femi is quite right to say that he's scared because they've no longer got the Europeans to bite. They're no longer blaming Polish people for this problem.
Yeah.
Poland's economy and Poland's defense budget is far better than ours at the moment, basically. I think most Poles are quite happy to be gone home. It doesn't bother them at all. And I don't think any of these parties, including Trump, I don't think they actually give a shit about immigration. I think it's really just a line that they use because they know it gets angry people out to the ballot box.
It certainly does.
But fighting their enemies.
I was going to mention that. One of the things as well, when we look at polls and we say, well, we take the don't knows out, there are a lot of people who don't vote because they don't give a fuck about politics and they don't feel like their vote counts. Yeah. You tell them that their vote's going to count and it gets them out. Now, Farage did this quite successfully a few years ago for the Brexit referendums. But him and Johnson, or, Cummings, getting people, 1 million people who had never voted before, to go out and vote. And he said, if you vote, it'll change something. And for the first time in these people's lives, they went out and they put a mark on a bit of paper, and it actually changed something. It didn't change things for the better, but they had an effect. It's like someone who smashes a window or does some graffiti on the wall. Not good graffiti like Banksy, but bad graffiti like someone who's not Banksy. And they made their mark. They made their mark, and then you're going to take that away from them.
I think you're right. I think that's the power that he has. When we talk about the Makerfield vote and the continue. I look at the polls every day, and you just go, Jesus Christ, what has Farage got to do to get lower in the to stop being at 35%, basically?
We can use it against them though, in reverse, because now if you're voting against Rejoin, you're voting for the status quo, and clearly no one in this country is happy, and we want change. So for me, Rejoin is the positive change for the future. A lot of people, this is what I really, really try and disconnect Rejoin from Remain, because I do not think it's the same campaign whatsoever.
No, I think you're right.
So I think we can use that exact same formula in reverse against them.
Yeah.
Because he is fully, I don't understand why so many people think Nigel Farage is anti-establishment. He couldn't be more establishment.
Oh,
they feel that way about Trump. They feel that way about Elon Musk. They feel like Elon Musk is sticking one to the establishment, and you're like, are you kidding me? He literally is the establishment. His dad owned a fucking emerald mine, for God's sake. He sounds like something like a character from a fairy tale. The evil prince whose king father owned an emerald mine full of slaves. And it's like, oh, he didn't turn out to be a nice person after all. Well, there you go. What a surprise. What a shock. Anyway.
But that is their magic. And I think you were right, Graham, that, the last thing that people voted for that had an actual effect was Brexit.
Yeah.
And Farage, because he's never had any form of power since then, has been able to ride that for years. And this election, he stands a chance of being able to say, the last time you voted, it changed the world. And if you do it again, I'll change the world again. And people will buy into it because people voted for Trump the second time.
Yeah, for the exact same reasons.
Yeah,
because they want to make a difference.
Their eyes and ears, basically. But
they don't care what the difference is.
Yeah.
They just want things to change.
And I'm not being defeatist. I think you're right.
No one's felt any change.
I think we should go for these people legally. I think we should go for the tech barons. I think we should do everything we can legally to get rid of these people from our society.
Yeah.
And that's a really important fight. And then I want an alternative that is something worth buying into. And I think, Mike and Peter, the work that you're doing as well. And Femi putting this narrative that there is a better way. It's not retreating, as you say. It's not Remain. I think we've talked about this before, but from a branding point of view, the right have stolen the word.
Yeah,
basically.
I'm thinking about
that's problematic for us, and I think they did that on purpose. I do think they did that on purpose.
They definitely did, and I'm thinking about that quite a lot myself. Actually, the whole word rejoin perhaps not being the right one.
I think we need another word for it. To be honest, we need to market this as something new and fresh. And a better idea, basically. And I think we need to be doing it for other reasons than the reasons that we left.
Freedom,
basically.
We also need to be honest, just real quickly, because I know you're probably at the end of time, Graham. We need to be honest. The reason Brexit didn't work and never would work is because it was sold as you've got all these problems. If you vote to leave the EU, it's going to solve your problems. It was never going to work because the EU was never the cause of them problems. It was our own politicians. So when we left the EU, the problems are still there, actually got worse because the Brexit effects on top of them, still being caused by our politicians. So as rejoiners, we've got to be honest to say, we want to rejoin the EU, but rejoining the EU is not going to solve all our problems because the EU is never the cause of our problems anyway. But what it will do is give our politicians some more tools and some more money with which they can try and solve the problems. Yeah. We've got to be honest. I think
I still think we have to play the card of, we need to join the EU to have a go at the French again. That's what we did in the 70s. It's like you can't. There's a British sensibility that you're arguing against constantly, which is that we won in Agincourt. That sensibility of we beat the Germans with Spitfires, we beat the French with bows and arrows. That is ingrained in our society. It's what's taught in schools.
And the 7-Year War, and the Napoleonic Wars.
We need to play into it.
Just saying.
We need to say if we let Europe compete with America and China, basically, without us being able to tell them what to do, then that's a disaster for us.
I like the freedom movement. What do you want? Freedom of movement. I want my freedom of movement back, please.
Jesus, do I want freedom?
They put out the tweet. I think it was Priti Patel was the Home Secretary at the time. It was like, "We've stopped your freedom of movement." And it was all like fireworks and stuff. And it was like,
yeah, quite right.
Oh, what, you've done what? Sorry? Sorry? We've robbed your house. We've burnt your dog to death. What? Why are you putting this online and saying it's a good thing?
It's largely, we've robbed your house, and that means nobody else will want to rob your house.
Yeah, exactly.
That's kind of what they've done.
But to these morons that voted for this, that when they say, when they hear we took away your freedom of movement, they don't hear that their movement has been restricted. They hear that the people that are coming into the country, i.e. people from Europe, were stopped from doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's what the people that support it here.
Yeah.
The
word "your" wasn't,
and then that's why they're all shocked. So they're standing in a queue. They're all shocked, standing in a queue in a Spanish airport, wondering why they can't go through very quickly.
Yeah.
I think I'll just agree with the chat that I think there is a sensibility of the English still to be anti-French. I'm not including the
it's boring. I mean, it's boring. I think that's just an old people's thing. It really is.
You're talking to an old Scott. You're talking to an old person.
But you're Gen X,
representing.
You're not a boomer.
Literally, stop it.
Do you know what though? The boomers. There's a good chance that most of them are going to live for another 20 fucking years. Because of advances of modern technology and medicine and shit. They're going right into their 90s. And as they get older, they're going to get more infirm and more expensive to look after. And I don't know.
More demand.
Well, I think we should expand on reforms policy where they said that if you vote Green, you're going to have asylum centres in your constituency. I think we should expand that and say if you vote Reform, you're not allowed to use the NHS.
Yeah, fuck them.
Really good idea.
Yeah. It's full of foreigners anyway. You wouldn't like it.
Exactly.
we should just build one hospital somewhere incredibly remote that's entirely staffed by British citizens.
Reform hospital.
And just say,
hospital reform.
If you want any healthcare, you have to go to the Isle of Man.
Well, listen, it's past 10 o'clock, so we're going to wrap up in a few moments. But we do have time for one more super chat, which will trigger the confetti cannon for a second time. So if someone wants to do that, you're very welcome to. Before we go, are there any other news stories? I know we talked a lot about Europe today, obviously, because it's coming up to the 10-year anniversary of the Brexit vote. But are there any other news stories this week that you want to comment on? The World Cup, the UFC match that's going to take place in the rain.
Have you seen Trump's UFC mosquito-ridden?
Yes.
Did you see the opening of it as well?
No, I haven't seen the opening of it.
As far as
a motorbike stunt team doing loop-the-loops over the ridiculous.
It's so idiocracy. It's just they watched idiocracy and went,
it's idiocracy.
We need to bring this forward 500 years.
And also, have you seen that his reflecting pool has developed an algal bloom? So it's turned into a swamp, which is just the perfect analogy, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that is an analogy. Yeah,
millions of taxpayers' dollars trying to.
I thought he was gonna clean the swamp.
Hey,
drain it.
One Angry Pagan says 106 wins now for Lewis Hamilton. Lewis Hamilton won the Barcelona Grand Prix today, and we had a 1-2-3 Brit podium for the first time since 1968. It's quite exciting.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, and
what was 1968? Sterling Moss, Graham
Hill.
Graham
no,
Hill.
It was Jackie Thing. It wasn't Sterling Moss. It was
Jackie Stewart.
Jackie Stewart, Graham Hill, and I can't remember who the third one was. Right. Someone knows it. They'll say it in the chat, I'm sure. But yeah, it was Jackie Stewart. Yeah, I was going to mention Scottish football last night. They beat Haiti. Well done, Scotland. Fucking 2 o'clock in the morning. 2 o'clock in the morning. Like, who schedules this shit? And in one of the countries that was playing, it was 2 o'clock. And it's not like because America's in some wacky time zone that if they had it, at any other time, it would have been bad. They could have had a 3 o'clock kickoff. And then people in Haiti could have watched it. Fine. It starts at 3. And people in Scotland could have watched it.
What time are they actually
fine.
playing the game? What time are they playing the game?
Well, that must have started at like 8 o'clock, wasn't it? No, actually, no, it must have been later than 8. Sorry.
So they're scheduling them for
10 o'clock?
10 o'clock, they're scheduling them from an American audience.
10 o'clock. It must have started at 9 o'clock. Sorry, I can't add up. It's 5 hours, isn't it? But Boston is 5 hours behind. So yeah, 9 o'clock. 9 o'clock starts. Ridiculous.
Scott, I'm not hopeful that you know an awful lot about American sports, basically, right? But as far as I understand it, there is a basketball final going on of some description, and that's over 4 games, which seems ludicrous to me, basically. Right. But I don't understand why that's the case.
Because basketball goes really fast.
But when you look at the coverage that there's been for that from the States, for those 4 games that they're playing out, basically, and in particular in New York, the way the whole city has got behind that, as if it's a World Cup, because America loves to think that they're the world champions at sports they only play. But I don't see any of that happening for the World Cup in the States. I don't think it's at all popular in the States. There's nothing.
Soccer is not popular in the States.
No.
Soccer is not popular.
And also because it's
like
so spread out. I was watching an interview with the head of sport at the BBC who was justifying why they haven't actually sent the pundits to a studio in the States, that they're doing it from Salford. And he was basically saying, well, where would you put them? Like, if we put them in Denver, then half the games, like only 10% of the games are being played there. What do? Do you move them to Canada and Mexico and New York and Los Angeles and Miami? Do you do that at huge expense, or do you just sit them in Salford with a big screen?
Yeah.
I think most of the pundits have said something against Donald Trump on their social media, so we're scared about getting through the border, maybe.
Yeah, there's that too.
Well, and Gary Lineker's out there in New York at the moment. So.
Is he? He's probably in jail then, isn't he, by now?
At the end of the day, Americans don't give a shit about football. They only give a shit about American football. They don't give a shit about the World Cup. They just don't. That's why we're gonna watch a bunch of fucking games with half-empty arenas, half-empty stadiums. Yeah, they don't care, and that's just the truth of it. Donald Trump has made it very difficult for other people from other countries to arrive and to come into the country. So it's gonna be a fucking huge financial flop, and I'm here for it.
Yeah. Listen, before we go on, we've got some breaking news. The assisted dying bill is set to return to the Commons. Lauren Edwards, a Labour MP, is going to use her private members bill, because the way it works is like a lottery, goes out to the members, the backbenchers, for them to put forward a bill. It can be anything that they want, and it's based on, you know, the member, whatever they. And she said, yeah, I'm going to go for the assisted dying bill, and because this will be the second time it's gone in, there'll be enough parliamentary time to use the Parliament Act if it gets blocked by the Lords again. So that's really, really good news. Perry, thank you very much for the £2 super chat. That's very kind of you. Go on then. Thank you very much. And Maggie Pie as well. Making Brexit work sounds a bit like a DIY lobotomy. I love that. And thanks to Maggie and thanks to Perry and everyone else who's chipped in, because that allows me to go 3, 2, 1. Confetti! Woo! Yay! Confetti! Woo!
Sorry, Peter, we should have briefed you. You have to feign excitement at that point.
Feign excitement? What do you mean,
sorry.
feign? You have to just
Graham's
be
the only
excited.
one that gets genuinely excited about the confetti.
Scott gets genuinely
And Diz.
excited as well.
Yes, I do.
Yeah, look how happy he is. Look at his happy little face.
In other news, did you hear about Tommy Yaxley Lennon being
arrested for being a
arrested
twat?
at Heathrow?
He wrote, "I'm a terrorist again." That's what he wrote. And therefore, that is an admission that he is a terrorist, and therefore he should be thrown in jail for being a fucking terrorist. He wrote it on social media. He said, "I am a terrorist."
He seems baffled that, deliberately causing riots and then sitting in America speaking to our literal enemy at the moment would make people think he's a terrorist. Seems genuinely baffled by that.
He was in Russia last week, wasn't he?
Yeah.
While he was spurring on the riots in Ireland.
Yeah.
And he doesn't even live in the UK. He's a tax dodging criminal, basically, that avoids living in the country he claims to be defending. It's ridiculous.
He's a total con.
I did have a pang of homesickness. Yesterday, I had a pang of homesickness for Brighton because there were 10 racists turned up in Brighton expecting.
Oh yeah,
like 2,000 anti-racists turned up to tell them to fuck off. It was beautiful.
Yeah. Why? You know what, Mike? I kind of missed this whole thing. Why did you move from Brighton? I don't even know what happened there.
It's a long story. I mean, I have to call out to Chris and Catherine. I doubt they're watching, but some Trumpton followers helped me out with a really lovely flat in East Sussex. So, but I got evicted, Scott, and just after I got back from hospital.
Oh, you should have paid your rent.
That would have been nice, but it was the last chance for the landlord to do a Section 21.
Oh, bastard! Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so,
I'm sorry to hear that. It's a shame you had to move from Brighton because I know how much you liked it there, and that's what I thought was weird.
In general, it's a good thing. There's a Bertrand Russell quote, which is that to live a good life for a decade sets you up for the next 10 years of your life. And
I wonder what that's like.
Yeah.
So there was during the anti-protests, there was an image that went out of the 5 fucking fascists there in Brighton with this massive crowd, and there's a Chinese restaurant there with this symbol on it. The symbols mean one people under heaven, and that's what was written on the side of this picture, and it was translated by a Chinese person on the internet who went, "That is such an awesome thing to be written on that picture." It's just like all these people coming together to tell these racists to fuck off. And
one of my favourite banners said, "There are more drag queens in Brighton than fascists."
Sashay away.
I love that.
Brilliant.
Before we go as well, has anyone watched Tiptoe apart from me? Has anyone watched it yet?
I do not want to watch the final episode. I know it's going to happen. I don't want to watch it.
Have you watched the 4 up to it?
Yes, I have.
Okay, I wouldn't watch it, mate.
Because I just don't want to cry in front of the TV for an hour.
Yeah, that's essentially what you'll do. But
I just don't want to. I don't.
Bloody hell! That is an urgent show. I mean, make sure you're in an okay mental place before watching it because it is very hard.
I watched the first few, and it is a fantastic reflection on
where we are right now,
Britain today.
Yeah,
and it's not. I don't think it's about LGBTQ plus people. I think it could have been any minority.
Yeah.
And then introducing that culture, whatever that culture might have been. And I think that it's not actually a program for gay people. I think it's a program for straight people. I think it's a program for straight people to watch and to fucking pay attention to.
Yeah.
Because we're not the problem.
What's it called?
Tiptoe. It's in
Tiptoe.
It's on Channel 4.
Yeah, it's written by Russell T Davis, who wrote It's a Sin, Queer as Folk, and Years and Years, which was also really good.
Lots of Doctor Who.
And lots of Doctor Who.
There is one more bit of news I want to quickly say before we go.
Yeah.
And that is there's a Rejoin march in London on Saturday the 20th of June.
Is there?
And everyone
we're all going to, aren't we, Scott?
Pete, where's it start, Pete?
It starts at Temple Station and it ends in Parliament Square, yeah.
So it goes over Waterloo Bridge and then it comes back over Westminster Bridge, is it?
Yeah, then you don't go straight into Parliament Square, you go up, so you still come past Downing Street and then onto Parliament Square. And it's going to be really good. So whether you want to rejoin the EU, the customs union, the single market, you just want to get closer to Europe, whatever you think, come along. It'll be fun. And it's the 10th anniversary. The media are watching, so we need it to be as big as we can. So come, Scott.
I'll do my best.
Okay, we need to have some funny slogans. So in this week, if someone wants to make some funny slogans up, I might make myself a placard. I always have a funny slogan on my placard.
Come to the stage, Graham, as well if you want. If you're there, you can do some videos and speakers and stuff.
I might just gag in to say hello to everyone.
Wicked.
Scott, what's happened?
I froze and you kind of went quiet and I didn't know what happened. Sorry about that.
I don't know. We just
I've had connection problems all day. Sorry.
I know how that feels, mate. But sometimes we get through. Sometimes we get through. All right. Well, listen, we'll call it a night. So thank you so much for watching, and thanks to my wonderful guests, Mike Dix and Peter Core and Scott Williams, and our earlier guests who are also awesome. We had Alex Kerr from the not Core Kerr from Political X. We had Mike Galsworthy from the European Movement. He's the chair of the European Movement and also the head of Scientists for EU. And obviously we had Femi Olawale, who is who was our future, our choice back in the day, but now he runs a channel called F Politics. So if you want to subscribe to any of our friends, I'll try and put the links in the description below after the show, and so look out for that. I'll be back tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock for, I think. Hang on. Yes, I will. I'll be back at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning for Morning Brew. No, I thought that I was going to be back on Friday, and then I realised that I couldn't do the show on Friday morning, and I was like, oh shit! I've just told everyone that I'm going to be here, and I'm not. And also in the evening, Scott and I are going to be doing a show, aren't we, Scott? Yeah, about mental health. So if you want to join us on that show, you're very welcome to that.
Tomorrow, right?
Tomorrow night. Yeah, we're calling it fucking mental because we're sensitive like that. Yeah, obviously, again, really reiterate this. I'll be talking about this all week. We're meeting up in London, 12 o'clock outside Temple Underground Station in London. And if you want to meet us there at 12, we will be setting off at 1 o'clock, are we? Peter?
Yeah, 1 o'clock. And send me your videos as well so I can put them on.
Oh, yeah. And if you've got any little videos about your experiences of leaving the EU and why we need to rejoin it, please get that over to if you let me know, I can send it over to Peter if you can't find Peter, or you can go on the National Rejoin March website and get in touch that way as well. Okay, so cool. And One Angry Pagan's going to be on Discord after this if anyone wants to chat with One Angry Pagan. Thanks to everyone in the chat. You're all absolutely brilliant. Sorry I didn't get to read out so many messages this week, but I didn't kind of want to interrupt while Mike and Femi were having a Barney.
Mike Galsworthy. Yeah.
I need to watch this back. They're both on stage on Saturday. I don't know if I need to get to it.
You're right. It wasn't Mike Galsworthy.
And love and shout out to Sarah as well. I'm really sorry, Sarah. That's really shit. Her new
Sarah. She reached out.
Yeah,
yesterday about that. That's really shit. But you're right to protect yourself. So
and Sarah, just sending out lots of love and hugs to you, and hopefully we'll get this sorted. And if you want to go into the chat, I'm sure you can go into the Discord server, Sarah. But if you can't, give me a shout on Facebook, and I'll give you a link to that. Anyway, I'll see you all hopefully tomorrow morning. 9 o'clock, bright and early. And until then, I'll say thank you to my wonderful guests. Thank you to you for watching. Thanks for the super chats. Until next time, I'll say hello, good evening, welcome, and goodbye.
Bye. Thanks for having me. Bye.